Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to first thank all the honorable members who spoke. Jagdambika Pal ji, Mahua Maitra ji, Jaydev Galla ji, Nithun Reddy ji, Santosh Kumar ji, Girish Chandra ji, Ranjit Reddy ji, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary ji, Supriya Sule ji, Rajiv Pratap Rudi ji, K. Nawaz ji, Hassan Masoodi ji, G.S. Pond ji, Vishnu Prasad ji, Anubhav Mohanty ji, N.K. Premchandan ji, Gaurav Gogoi ji, Manoj Rajodia ji, Shinde ji. The debate was positive and most of the speakers have supported this bill. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the power sector, Honorable Speaker, sir, in the power sector, there are many things which we can be proud of as a country. इस सेक्टर में जो हमने किया है उस पर हमें गर्व होने का अधिकार है दुनिया भर में. When we connected every village in just about 987 days, the Prime Minister had given us a target of 1,000 days. At that time, the International Energy Agency came out with a tweet saying that this was the best news of the energy sector in 2018. When we connected 28.6 million homes, now it's 28.8 million homes, when we connected every home, हर घर को हम लोगों ने कनेक्ट किया. And the direction still stands कि अगर कोई घर छूटा हुआ है तो उसको भी कनेक्ट कर देना है. We'll connect if any house is left out, that also has to be connected. When we connected every home, when we connected 28 million homes in just about 18-19 months, I mean, the International Agency said that this was the largest expansion of access in the shortest time frame ever in the history of the power sector. We have done this as a country. I mean, in one stroke, we connected every village, every home. We converted our country from power deficit to power surplus. I mean, today we have about 400,000 megawatts installed capacity. We connected the whole country into one grid, converting our grid into the largest grid in the world. These are things to be proud of. And we also can be proud of, and this is not me saying it, all the countries say we can be proud of our record in energy transition, in the installation of renewable energy capacities. We can be proud of it as a country. Our per capita emissions are 1/3, are the lowest in the world, Mr. Speaker, sir. Our per capita emissions are the lowest in the world. Despite that, we have emerged as the only large economy and only G20 country whose energy transition actions are consonant with a sub-2 degree rise in global temperature. हमारा per capita emission दुनिया में सबसे कम, लेकिन ये एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन में और एमिशंस कम करने का जो टारगेट है उसमें हम दुनिया के लीडर में इमर्ज किए. अभी कैपेसिटी की, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी कैपेसिटी की बात हो रही थी. अध्यक्ष महोदय, हमारी आज हम लोगों ने, जैसे कि हमने पिछली बार भी कहा था, हम लोगों ने आज अपनी हमारी स्थापित क्षमता हो गई है नॉन फॉसिल फ्यूल की 1,67,000 मेगावाट और करीब 82,000 मेगावाट हमारा अंडर इंस्टॉलेशन. जिस गति से हमने रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, ये नॉन फॉसिल हुआ, उसमें से न्यूक्लियर आप निकाल दें तो हमारी रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी कैपेसिटी जो कि स्थापित है 1,61,000 मेगावाट और 72,000 मेगावाट हमारा अंडर इंस्टॉलेशन है. तो लोग कह रहे थे कि हम लोगों ने वी हैड प्रॉमिस्ड दैट बाय 2022 विल एस्टैब्लिश 175 गीगावाट्स ऑफ कैपेसिटी, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी कैपेसिटी, एंड वी हैव मिस्ड इट. बट दिस इज द पोजीशन, वी हैव नॉट मिस्ड द टारगेट. We are not only on the target, in fact, we are ahead of the target. We would have been much ahead of the target if the COVID had not intervened. Because remember, I'm talking about only renewable energy capacity, I'm not adding nuclear. My renewable energy capacity is installed is 161 gigawatts and 72 gigawatts is under installation. We have had the fastest rate of growth of renewable energy capacity in the world, bar none. जिस गति से हमने रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी कैपेसिटी अपने जोड़ा है, ये दुनिया में सबसे तेज गति है. ये हम नहीं कहते, द होल वर्ल्ड सेज इट. सो वी हैव, आई मीन, वी एज अ कंट्री कैन बी प्राउड ऑफ इट. One of our NDCs we've fulfilled 9 years in advance, capacity. Now my capacity is more than 40%. My established non-fossil capacity is more than 40% of my total capacity. It's 41%. And just a minute, let me just, I've got, just hold. No, just hold on. Just
एक बार फिर आपको बता दूं, मैं सभी मंत्रियों और सभी सदस्यों को कहता हूं, कोई भी माननीय सदस्य उठ भी जाए तो आप उनका जवाब मत दिया करो, मेरे बिना परमिशन।
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. So, as I said, our rate of renewable energy capacity addition has been the fastest in the world. It's not me saying it. The whole world says it. We have emerged as the most attractive destination for investment in renewables. This is not me saying. This is the whole world saying it. And this is something which has happened by, shall we say, a consensus. Now, in many countries, you will find that there is not much of a consensus insofar as energy transition is concerned. Many developed countries, there is no consensus. In our country, there is a consensus. ये हमारे देश में सभी लोग, सभी राज्य इस बात पर सहमत हैं कि हाँ साहब, सो हमें रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी कैपेसिटी लगानी चाहिए, हमको एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन करना है, हमको अपने एमिशंस कम करना है। एक एनडीसी तो जैसे कि हमने कहा कि वी अचीव 9 years in advance। दूसरा एनडीसी हमने प्लेज किया था पेरिस में, ये 2 प्लेज किए थे। एक तो कि हम साहब 2030 तक अपना कैपेसिटी जो है पावर जनरेशन कैपेसिटी उसका 40% हम कर देंगे नॉन फॉसिल से, वो हमने 21 में कर दिया। दूसरा हमने कहा था कि हम अपने एमिशंस इंटेंसिटी को घटाएंगे एज अगेंस्ट 2005 लेवल्स बाय 33 to 35% बाय 2030। ऑलरेडी हमारा जो अचीवमेंट है इट्स नियरिंग 30, तो उसका भी हम बिफोर टाइम हम लोग अचीव कर देंगे। आइए सब लोगों के ये सहमति से हुआ। हमारी ये बात हो रही थी अबाउट मिसिंग टारगेट्स। मिसिंग टारगेट्स, वी आर अहेड ऑफ द टारगेट, प्लीज बी प्राउड ऑफ इट। The whole world understands this and accepts this. We are ahead of the target. Forget about missing targets. That is one thing which we have done. We can be proud of in the energy sector. Now, basically, people talked about the achievement of the Bureau of, and you know how the Bureau of Energy Efficiency has fallen short of its utilization of its budget. The purpose is not to not 100% spending the money. The purpose is that have you achieved what you have set out to achieve, and they have. As I said, हमारा जो emissions reduction हुआ है, that is because of the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. कैसे emissions reduction हुआ? हम लोगों ने इंडस्ट्री में अपना CO2 का emissions, ये परफॉर्म अचीव ट्रेड हमारा स्कीम, उसके अंतर्गत हमने एमिशंस रिडक्शन, यानी ब्यूरो ऑफ एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी ने एमिशंस रिडक्शन अचीव किया ऑफ 106 मिलियन टन्स ऑफ CO2 पर एनम। हर साल उतना हम लोगों ने जो स्टेप्स किया है उसका एफिशिएंसी जो बढ़ा है। बहुत सारे सेक्टर्स में उसके जो ये एनर्जी यूटिलाइजेशन का जो एफिशिएंसी है वो 20% से लेकर के 24% तक बढ़ा है। और इसी कारण हमारे बहुत सारे इंडस्ट्रीज कॉम्पिटिटिव हो गए दुनिया में। जितने मेजर इंडस्ट्रीज है दे बिकम कॉम्पिटिटिव बिकॉज ऑफ द इंक्रीजिंग एफिशिएंसी, और जो इन्होंने टारगेट सेट किया उसे कारण हुआ। ये सिर्फ इंडस्ट्री में 106 मिलियन टन ऑफ CO2 एमिशंस रिडक्शन पर एनम, हम पूरा ये आपको बता ही देते हैं कि कैसे कैसे इनका ये अचीवमेंट रहा। इनका जो स्टैंडर्ड्स एंड लेबलिंग प्रोग्राम है उसमें CO2 एमिशंस रिडक्शन 51 मिलियन टन पर एनम रहा। जो उजाला स्कीम है, जो हमारा ये LED स्कीम है, इसके अंतर्गत हम लोगों ने एनर्जी सेविंग अचीव की 129 बिलियन यूनिट्स, 129 बिलियन यूनिट्स एनर्जी सेविंग की। हमारा टोटल कंजम्पशन आज है 1400 बिलियन यूनिट। जो हमारा उजाला स्कीम है इसके अंतर्गत CO2 एमिशंस का रिडक्शन हमने 105 मिलियन टन पर एनम किया। इसी कारण जो हमने जो टारगेट दिया था कि बाय 2030 हम अपना एमिशंस रिडक्शन कर देंगे बाय 33 to 35%, इसी कारण तो हम अचीव कर रहे हैं। और जो हमने अपना एम्बिशन बढ़ा दिया, क्योंकि हम जो पहले टारगेट हमने अपने आप के लिए दिया था पेरिस में 2015 में, वो हम अचीव कर लिए। और तो हमने ग्लासगो में अपना टारगेट 2030 का बढ़ा दिया और हमने कहा कि 2030 तक हमारा जो ये कैपेसिटी है रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी नॉन फॉसिल फ्यूल कैपेसिटी, उसको हम 50% ले जाएंगे, 40% से 50%। और जो एमिशंस रिडक्शन है उसको हम 33% से बढ़ा करके 45% कर देंगे। क्यों कर रहे हैं? We are the only country which has increased, our target by this much. No other major economy has done that. We have done it because we not only achieved our target, but ladies and gentlemen, but honorable members, we achieved our target before time. So the honorable member who said that we don't achieve our target, they are not aware of the facts. We achieved our target before time. That's why we enhanced our targets for 2030, and we shall achieve those. Don't worry. As I said, now One question, of course, was that, we have reduced the pledge which was made by the Honorable Prime Minister in Glasgow. The Honorable Prime Minister had made a pledge that by 2030 we shall install 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel capacity. We stand by that. But as far as NDCs are concerned, the language of NDC is different. जो NDC एक हमने जैसे कि कहा था कि by 2022 हम रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी कैपेसिटी 1,75,000 मेगावाट करेंगे, तो ये वो हमारा प्लेस था, लेकिन वो एनडीसी नहीं थी. एनडीसी जो लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट होता है वो एब्सोल्यूट टर्म्स में नहीं होता है, वो परसेंटेज टर्म्स में होता है. तो परसेंटेज टर्म्स में हमने कहा था कि हमारी जो पावर जनरेशन कैपेसिटी होगी वो 40% हम ये रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी से करेंगे, बाय नॉन फॉसिल फ्यूल से करेंगे. इसमें रिन्यूएबल नॉन रिन्यूएबल नहीं होता है अध्यक्ष महोदय, उसमें फॉसिल नॉन फॉसिल होता है. नॉन फॉसिल से एमिशन नहीं होता है, फॉसिल से एमिशन होता है, तो फॉसिल नॉन फॉसिल होता है. तो रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी उसमें नहीं आती है, नॉन फॉसिल होता है, जिसमें कि रिन्यूएबल प्लस न्यूक्लियर रहता है. तो हमने कहा था कि नॉन फॉसिल से हमारा कैपेसिटी होगा बाय 40% बाय 2030, जो कि हम 21 नवंबर में अचीव कर लिए. अब उसी को बढ़ा करके हमने 40% को 50% कर दिया. इसमें एब्सोल्यूट टर्म्स में 500 गीगावाट या 450 गीगावाट की बात नहीं कही जाती. तो व्हाट यू रेड इन द न्यूज़पेपर्स वाज एक्चुअली आवर द प्लेज being translated into action in terms of the United Nations framework on climate change. That is the language which is followed. And similarly, the other language which is followed is emissions intensity, which we have again increased our ambition from 33% to 45%. So our progress in renewable energy, our progress in energy transition is something to be proud of. I am proud of it. Every Indian can be proud of it, because we have done something which other major economies have not done. And despite the fact that our per capita emissions are the lowest in the world. Why did we do it? Why did we do it? Because we believe in it. And not only the government, I believe every Indian believes in the environment. We are the only society which, worships nature, which worships trees, which worships water. We are the only society which worships the sun, the giver of energy. So therefore we believe in it. We believe in, the energy, the conservation, we believe in the environment. And that's why we are doing this. Now the set of amendments which we have brought before you, this will take that forward. This will take that forward. And the world is, as I said, Honorable Speaker, that the world is changing. Now, every country has realized that it is necessary to take action, otherwise this, global warming will damage our environment, irreversibly. And every country, therefore, is taking steps. Now, let's say that we had not brought this bill. You know what is going to happen? The European Union has already decided that they'll levy a carbon tax on, steel which is not green, on import of steel which is not green. So, if we don't convert our industry will not be competitive. It will not be able to sell in the foreign markets. That's how the world is changing. They are going to put carbon tax on every product which we try to export, or if we don't make those products green products. The future is going to be green products. That is one. The second, of course, is the fact that this is our golden opportunity to change from being a net importer of energy to being a net exporter of energy. Honorable Speaker, sir, we have all the advantages. We have one of the largest established renewable energy capacities in the world. And we have trained manpower, we have the land, we have the sun. So we can emerge as the global supplier for green hydrogen and green ammonia. Now that is going to be the future. And different countries, European countries as well, the developed economies have already started tying up sources of green hydrogen and green ammonia. We are missing the bus. Now we can't afford to miss the bus this time. We missed the bus when the Industrial Revolution took place. This time we shall not miss the bus. We shall emerge as exporters of green hydrogen and green ammonia. I am happy that many of our industries we've already come out with a policy to sort of facilitate production of green hydrogen and green ammonia. And I'm happy that many industries have gone abroad and tied up for export of green hydrogen and green ammonia from our country to the countries which need it, like Japan, European Union, etc. Now that's what our objective is. Our objective is twofold. One objective is that we shall green our industry. That is one. That is for the environment, and that's also for removing our dependence on imported sources. For Honorable Speaker, sir, we import 9.1 million tons of urea. Why? Because we don't produce natural gas, so we have, and we also import ammonia, grey ammonia. We import natural gas, and then after that we make ammonia from that to make fertilizer. Now we will sort of do away with our dependence on imports, and we shall make green ammonia here from the sun and our solar energy and wind energy. Similarly, whether in fertilizer, similarly in the refining, petroleum refining, or wherever we use feedstock, we are going to shift from imported feedstock to indigenous feedstock made from renewable energy. Now, this is something which we are going to be world leaders in. This is the future, and we shall emerge as world leaders in. These amendments will facilitate that. That's why we have said, we have put an enabling provision in the amendments that we will prescribe the replacement of imported sources, fossil fuel sources, by renewable sources or non-fossil sources made in India. That's why we have provided for the carbon market. Now, questions were raised about the carbon market. Now, we already have some species of a carbon market. Honorable Speaker, sir, we have already our industries, making sure that our industries become efficient. We've already started putting limits for energy efficiency, the specific energy consumption limits we put under the Energy Conservation Act. And if any industry achieves a higher efficiency than the limit which we put, we give him a energy saving certificate, which he can sell to other industries which also have a target, but which have not been managed to meet their efficiency, energy efficiency target. So they have to either buy this or pay a penalty. So we already have a species of a carbon market. For example, even in renewable energy, if an obligated entity puts more renewable energy or consumes more renewable energy than it's obligated to do, it gets a renewable energy certificate, which can be bought by other obligated entities which have an obligation to consume renewable energy but have not been able to meet that target. They can avoid paying a penalty by buying RECs. Now the carbon credit scheme will combine all these into one instrument. Now, one more thing I would like to tell the House. Now, these carbon credits are not going to be exported. No question. The carbon credits, and we are very conscious about it. I'll tell you why carbon credits are not going to be exported. Because we have made commitments in COP 21, COP 26, we have made commitments about our NDCs. Now, till so long as we do not meet those commitments, we shall not allow any export of carbon credits. Those carbon credits will have to be bought by domestic industries, generated by domestic industries, bought by domestic industries. What that will do is, right now, and I'll explain the logic behind it. The logic behind it is this, that if a target is fixed on somebody to reduce its emissions or to reduce its carbon content, and it's not able to meet the target, let me just finish. And if it's not able to meet its target, then it has to pay a penalty. Now, but there has to the system of penalties is there, but there also has to be a system for giving incentive. Suppose I not only meet the target, but I overachieve the target. What is the incentive? The incentive is that I will get carbon credits which I can sell. So this incentivizes, in our country, this incentivizes energy transition. And the industries or obligated entities which are not able to meet their targets of reducing their carbon emissions, they will have to buy carbon credits or pay penalties. Now that is the construct. That is a construct which is already there. We are only combining it and making it clear. And all these. Now there was some discussion about the domestic, bringing residential buildings into the fold of. Bringing residential buildings into the fold of this act. Honorable Speaker, sir, we are only bringing in large residential buildings. That means residential buildings which have a connected load of more than 100 kilowatts. A normal middle class house would have a connected load of 3 kilowatts. I am talking about buildings which have which are larger than 35,000 to 40,000 square feet. Only those buildings will be mandated to become green buildings and sustainable buildings. Now that is again a part of our energy conservation and energy efficiency, and that is possible. Now what we do is we lay down the codes We say that, okay, if you construct a large building, these are the rules which you will have to follow. This is what you will have to do. Now, those codes are made a part of the building code of the state. So the state absorbs it in its building bylaws, and it is implemented as a part of the building bylaws. So the states implement. All the implementation is done by the states, by the designated agency of the states. Now this bill also provides for providing finances and resources to the designated agencies of the state. That's what this bill does. So these are by and large, it has been welcomed by everybody. This is a bill for the future. And Honorable Speaker, sir, I would recommend it to the House that this may be passed.